The reason I'm doing a video like this today in this style is because I have just bought a brand new car for myself and I'm taking it for a spin. So I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to talk about why today, of all days, on this special day for me, very exciting day, it's important to love yourself first. Why should we, you, I love ourselves first? Well, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, okay? And I know that you're into the law of attraction. I know that you believe in spirituality and you're all about love and being good to other people and so on. And what I found with people like us who are spiritual and who do want to do what's right in this world, and we believe in having, you know, a purpose and serving ourselves as well as other human beings and being the best version of ourselves, you know, yada yada yada, it can be quite difficult to forget how we serve ourselves first and foremost. And a lot of people actually get confused about this and think it's selfish, but it's not selfish. It's not selfish. And if you're familiar with my content, you'll know that I actually did a video a couple of years back talking about why self-love is the opposite of selfish. So I really wanted to go deeper into this subject because it is one that annoys me very much when people say, oh, you're spiritual, you shouldn't love yourself to that degree. Well, actually, yes, I should, and so should you, because if you don't love yourself first and foremost, you've got nothing to offer anyone anyway, okay? You've got nothing. How can you be of service if you've got nothing to serve with? You know, answer me that. And I hear people, you know, with my clients that I work with time and time again, lovely, intelligent women who are in abusive relationships, who get treated like shit at work, who are working every hour God sends just so that they can make ends meet. They're not using their talents. They're not being allowed to express their creative ability to its full extent. They are being exploited in so many ways, shapes and forms. Now, how can that be of service to this world? If you're not being of service to yourself and loving yourself first and foremost, as in having standards and keeping up to speed with your own personal desires, as you are evolving, as you are growing, as you are having more knowledge and wisdom, and you're getting the opportunity, you know, the universe is constantly presenting to you scenarios where you're thinking, right, well, I really like this, but I don't like that. As we get older, you know, we are sifting through all of those experiences and we're coming to our own opinions and ideals and deciding and figuring out for ourselves who we truly are and how we can support ourselves in an authentic manner so that we can be happy, right? So that we can have true emotional so we can have that emotional fulfillment that we really want. And that's not selfish. That is not selfish, because I, as a coach, I went through a phase where I was working so hard to try and get my business initially off the ground that I wasn't sleeping that much. You know, when I was resting and relaxing, my mind was constantly on the job. Now, I wasn't in any fit state to be coaching clients and telling them, you know, this is what, you know, you need to do to relax and find inner peace and stuff, because I wasn't doing it myself. I wasn't practicing what I preached. And now I've found a happy medium, all because I have boundaries and I'm able to say no. And it's really important that despite being spiritual and loving and wanting to do our best by others, it's so important that we have the right balance, and part of that balance is saying no. Because otherwise what happens, and I mentioned it a minute ago about, you know, women that I work with who are in abusive relationships and they put up with so much shit from from men, and of course, you know, men obviously put up with shit from women too, and it all comes back down to insecurity and feeling like I'm not good enough, I don't deserve better than this, so I need to, you know, just be happy and grateful for what I've got, and they are nice, they are kind in many ways, so, you know, I should just count myself lucky and count my blessings and blah blah blah. No, love yourself first, because when you love yourself first, this is what happens, okay? You start saying no to people. You start saying, no, sorry, that's not good enough. It's not about whether I'm good enough for you. It's, are you good enough for me? Is this job worthy of my time and my effort and my energy? Is this person worthy enough of my love and my devotion and my commitment to them? Am I able to have the freedom that I need to grow and be the best version of me in this particular circumstance? And the universe, you know, you understand, you get it, law of attraction, like attracts like. When you start raising the bar and saying, right, these are my desires, this is my vision, this is what I see for myself, this is what I truly want moving forward, and it starts now. I'm making those decisions right now, and I am aligning with that outcome through the choices that I'm making on a daily basis, the people that I'm surrounding myself with, and the focus and energy, where that's going. Where is the majority of that going? Is it going towards my dreams and my desires, or is it being wasted and drained with nonsense and shit that doesn't serve me? When you align with your desires and you start to love yourself first, all of that other stuff just starts to, it becomes a way of life, and the universe will start to match you. And then that is how you end up moving yourself closer and closer towards, I don't even know what lane I'm supposed to be in here. You start to, your whole perspective of life changes. Your perspective on relationships. What is a good relationship? What is a bad relationship? What does that even mean? What am I willing to accept in this world? Because we only get what we're willing to accept. We only receive from the universe what we are willing to accept. And if we are not able to think outside the box and think, well, I don't want ABC anymore, I want XYZ, we're just going to be constantly getting the short end of the stick, and life is going to be stuck on repeat in terms of relationship patterns and cycles, in terms of jobs, you know, moving from one job to another, and it always being the same. It might start out good initially, but then what happens is it slowly starts to become the same as every other job you've ever had or relationship, because the patterns, the same cycles, the same kind of situation starts to unfold where you think, oh my God, I've been here before. And a lot of that has to do with belief, and the belief from what I've personally experienced and what I've experienced with clients and the stories they've told me is it's always about self-worth and what we believe we are worthy of receiving. So by loving yourself first, and I'm going to get into this in more detail in just a little bit, I'm going to tell you a few little things that you can use to do this for yourself starting today, to get that ball rolling of loving yourself more and putting yourself first. But the stories that I hear, it's always about self-worth. It's always about, oh yeah, but I can't do this and I can't do that and I'm not good enough. And it's the story, the conversation that's going on in our head that basically says, fundamentally, there's an undertone that says, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy, other people are better than me, they're more clever, they're more attractive, they're just more adequate, they've got more capability, they're more talented, whatever it is. It always boils down to the same thing, and the universe will give us whatever, not because the universe is judgmental, because it's punishing us, because we're having to suffer in order to achieve success. It's because of that story and that vibration that we're giving out that says, this is what I want, this is what I deserve, this is what I'm ready to receive or not receive. So it's always going to be a constant match, right? Whatever the story, the theme is, that is what we will get matched with the beliefs that are going on in our head. And those beliefs are formed when we're small children, from birth. with our parents, the adults that raise us, the environment that we're in, the kind of school that we go to, the friends in the playground or the enemies, teachers. This all starts, it's inevitable. Society teaches us how to be in terms of what we should or should not be doing when we get older for a job occupation and job choices. The level of income that is considered normal. That's why, you know, you've got some people who make loads of money and others who don't. And if you trace that back, there's a theme with their parents. You know, a lot of rich, successful people, a lot of them have had rich, successful parents. And you've got, of course, the other end of the spectrum, people who have, like Oprah Winfrey, who've had really bad upbringings, but what they've done is they've changed their beliefs and thought, actually, no, I am worthy of X, Y, Z. Just because, you know, I was taught that I wasn't, that's not true for me. That doesn't have to be my story. That doesn't have to be my outcome. I'm going to choose a better one for myself. And the way people like her break that mold and they switch that storyline is by loving themselves first, by choosing and loving themselves first and saying, right, enough now, I've had enough, I want better for myself. Universe, bring it. But it all starts up here, because if right now, for example, you don't feel worthy, you don't feel good enough, you don't feel intelligent enough, you feel like, oh yeah, but how can I do that because of my current circumstances and so on, and you don't feel like you've got the strength or the confidence to make those shifts and make that big move. Thing to do, and this is a really powerful exercise, what I'm about to give you, is start writing down all the things that you appreciate about yourself. Make a list. Maybe even just start off with 10 things. Are you good at cooking? Are you a nice person? What was the last thing that you did that was really nice and loving towards another? Maybe your boyfriend, maybe a colleague, maybe, you know, if you've got a child or a niece or a nephew. Start making a list of all the things that you appreciate about yourself that you think are good. Start there and start telling yourself, affirming, you know, I am a nice person. I am intelligent because yesterday I did this at work, or I got a new client, or I was able to help somebody out with something. Start thinking of specific examples that you can use that tell you and are evidence of how you are clever, how you are adequate, how you are worthy, and how you actually do have something to offer other people. Because you're the one who sets the goal, the standards. You're the one who sets those boundaries in terms of how you want to be treated and how you expect others to treat you. But you have to see yourself in that light first and foremost, because when you believe in yourself and you have that confidence, you then make a believer out of others. So I hope that makes sense. So that's a really powerful exercise to do, and get into the habit of doing that on a daily basis. Write down a few things that you're proud of yourself for, and evidence. So let's say, for example, you're looking for a relationship right now. Start writing down, okay, well, this is evidence of how I'm attractive, you know, because a guy checked me out when I was walking down the street earlier today, and whenever I've had a partner or I've been out on dates, this is what I've been told. This is kind of the feedback that I've always got. Like, guys really like my eyes, or guys really, you know, I've got, you know, a really nice chest, or I've got nice legs. Switch that perception that you have of yourself. So instead of focusing on all the negative crap about you, look at the positives and look at what other people have told you, the feedback that you've had from others, and the evidence in terms of the circumstances, how things are unfolding around you now, so that you've got that concrete manifestation to say, yeah, this is real, this is true, this isn't just me, you know, telling myself some fake bullshit. This is actually real stuff that I can use and work with to build that self-worth and that level of confidence in the way that I see myself. And from there, what's going to happen is your belief about yourself, whether it be in terms of love, whether it be in terms of income, life purpose, creativity, talent, moving on to your destined pathway, if you like, that the universe has laid out for you, you will start to connect with that more and more, and the beliefs in your mind will start to be altered, and they will start to change, and it will become an inevitable process, and it will have a snowball effect, and you will start to see those shifts and changes around you. And if you would like to know more about, I mentioned with Oprah Winfrey, and changing beliefs and really speeding up that process so that the universe starts to match those beliefs that you're altering in terms of income, love, life purpose, how you see yourself, then check out the Law of Attraction Miracle Process. What that is something that I put together, and it is basically bringing the whole concept of the inner child and the law of attraction together. Now, the best psychologists in the world, they actually use the inner child a lot to help their clients make progress and overcome trauma and all sorts of different things that have happened to them, so that they can create a better future for themselves. My take on the inner child, though, is a lot more fun than that, because it looks at the aspects of us where we have got these stories going on in our head. So in terms of relationships, what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? What does a relationship look like? And this has all come, you know, from us being raised in the environment we've been raised in. Same with jobs. What is a successful job? What isn't a successful job? What's a good one? What's a bad one? What's the sort of average realistic income that I can expect for myself as I get older? You know, if I wanted to be a dancer maybe, but my mother told me that I should have been a doctor. Where's all this sense of I can't do this or I can't do that? Where is it coming from? So what I do is, with the inner child concept and introducing it and bringing it into more of a spiritual realm with the law of attraction, is I bring out the fun, fearless side of you that says, you know what? To hell with society. To hell with what I was told was right or wrong as a child. I'm going to actually go within, and I'm going to love myself first, and I'm going to listen to my heart's desires. I'm going to listen to my intuition, and I'm going to rewrite those beliefs and those storylines for good. So if that is something of interest to you, which is what people like Oprah Winfrey do, Jim Carrey, Sylvester Stallone, he's another one. There are so many examples of celebrities who've done this themselves, and they've tapped into that fearless part of them that is pure and just knows what they want to do. You know, they don't give a crap about anything or anyone else putting those limitations on them. Check out the Law of Attraction Miracle Process, and it will explain to you exactly how that works and how you can get that ball rolling for yourself in a fun, fearless way that makes the whole thing so much more enjoyable. Anyway, back to today's main video. Loving yourself first. Loving yourself first it's crucial, because when we are able to have that relationship with ourselves that is based upon trust and pure unconditional love and respect, whether we're having a good day or a bad day, whether we're in a bad relationship or a really good relationship, a good job, a bad job, that level of love that we have for ourselves, the relationship that we have with ourselves, needs to be consistent, and it is anyway. You know, you can't run away from yourself, can you? Let's face it. So having a high level of self-love and putting yourself first, you become your own source of strength, your own source of self-esteem, self-worth, confidence. You're not looking externally for anyone or anything else to build you up, and that, you know, that is a very hard thing to do, especially if you've had a lot of knockbacks in life. And I'll tell you a quick story. Basically, it's to do with relationships. I left my husband August 2017, and that was the hardest thing that I had to do. We were together for 3 years, and I met him at university, but we sort of got back in contact years later, and then everything moved very quickly. We moved in together, we got married within the year, and and then we got divorced just last November. Anyway, things sort of between us weren't ever really right, and I was smitten with him. I fell in love with him, and I lost all sense of reason. And looking back now, despite knowing that he was not the man for me, because I wanted that love so much, because I wanted to belong to someone, and I wanted to feel worthy, and I wanted to be wanted, I was very quick to jump into a relationship and a marriage and share my life with someone who intuitively I knew wasn't right for me. Anyway, after sort of meditating for a long time and journaling and really getting into this whole self-love concept more and more, it gave me the confidence that I needed to break free from that relationship that I knew wasn't worthy of me, and it wasn't ticking all the boxes in terms of the person that I had become. And cut long story short, I ended up, I chucked him out, and then I went on to start up my coaching practice. I was getting quite a lot of recognition at that point online, and things it was almost like the universe, after I made the decisions that I needed to make in terms of who I truly was and appreciating myself, like with the technique I gave you about writing stuff down. When I started to really immerse myself in that and spirituality and asking for guidance and help and showing me the signs, it gave me everything I needed to think, right, I know what I want to do now. I want to do coaching. I want to help people like yourself. I want to be able to use the experience and the knowledge and the wisdom, the conclusions that I'm coming to offer this to others. But I wouldn't have got to that stage if I hadn't have done all the self-love work first and started to make the right decisions for myself. So that kind of really set me up onto that pathway in a really authentic way. And it's brought me to where I am now today. And what's really interesting about the whole self-love thing and loving yourself first is that it changes the way people talk to you, the way they treat you. Your whole perspective in life changes, because when you start to see yourself in a different way, you start to see others in a different way. They start to see you in a different way. Your relationships start to mirror back to you the relationship that you have with yourself, because people start to realize very quickly that they can't treat you badly. They can't take control of you. And what's interesting as well, it's quite, it's not funny, but it's, looking back now, it is, in terms of how it took me quite a while to fully embrace the self-love concept, is when I left my husband, I was sort of stuck in this insecure mode of, I want to be wanted, I want to be loved, I don't want to feel like I'm being rejected and abandoned. Even though I'd left my husband, I was still running that story in my head. That inner child part of me was still crying out for love and nurture. So I jumped into another relationship very quickly when I moved to Dorset, which is where I live now. And the guy that I got with, he was, I don't want to badmouth anyone, he was really into me. He was into me far more than I was him, if I'm honest. But what at first I considered to be really flattering, it turned into control and abuse very quickly, and I felt suffocated. So again, I had to make the decision between, okay, I'm here to focus on my business, I'm starting a whole new life for myself, a new chapter. Do I really want to continue putting up with this shit and having no boundaries and just allowing men and situations to get the better of me and me just be a bystander and put up with it? Of course not. I'd changed my whole life at that point. And again, it was almost like when I started to make the right choices for me, the universe stepped in and said, here, take this, take that. And I got shot of him. And then literally a few months later, I was offered a business opportunity in New Zealand. And I went out there on business. And, same thing when I decided to leave my husband. I decided, right, I'm going to move to Dorset now. I'm going to start afresh. And again, it was almost like all these things just started to come out of nowhere. It was almost like a backlog where the universe had been sitting waiting for me to do what was right, follow my intuition, follow that calling. And by doing that, by starting to put myself first and love myself first, all these blessings started to rain down on me. So you'll notice that when you start to keep up to speed with your desires by loving yourself first, the universe will mirror back to you exactly what it is that you've been wanting all this time. And unless you do that and you are brave and you make that decision, I'm sorry to say, but you're getting in your own way. You're blocking your own progress, because it's a bit like, it's almost like asking for someone to call you and then not picking up the phone when they do. That's how it is with the universe. The universe says to you, well, if you want this, you need to start aligning with that person that you want to be, with the person who has those kind of things: a loving relationship, a really rewarding job that pays well and honors and respects your time and your creativity and your talent and so on. But you need to see yourself in that light first and foremost, which is why the exercise I've given you will really start to get you more in alignment with the perception you have of yourself. And the law of attraction miracle process is a really powerful way for you to go to root level and start to change those beliefs once and for all that have been programmed into you, me, all of us. It's inevitable, you know, because our parents can only teach us what they know, and teachers and so on, people around us, they don't know any different, so we're not going to either, are we? But it follows us unless we challenge it. So now is the time for you to really challenge the limitations in your life and ask yourself, what is it that I want? Am I prepared to love myself first? Am I prepared to align with what it is that I'm truly wanting and asking? If you don't love yourself first, then you can't expect other people to make you a priority. You can't expect other people to treat you with the love and the respect that you do deserve as a human being. But you need to lead by example. So that's why loving yourself first is not just a nice pie in the sky ideal. It is essential, because then you stop looking to other people to fulfill that void that I know I've had for a long time in my life, and only now am I really starting to build it back up again, and I'm starting to fill it in. But self-love is the way that I've done that, and I teach this to all of my clients in so many ways, and it always comes back down to self-love, self-worth, self-esteem. What do you believe you're worthy of? What do you believe that you deserve to have in this life? Ask yourself that question and write down what comes to you. This is a work in progress, and no, it's not an overnight thing. It is an ongoing thing. But I tell you what, the moment you start to make these decisions and really start to just play with this, the shifts will amaze you, because the universe is waiting for you to stand up and say, I'm loving myself first. Because when I love myself first, I've then got so much more to provide and honor other people in this world with, by the way I'm being and behaving and the person I'm choosing to be. So yes, that is the reason why you should love yourself first. I'm sorry that today's video has been a little bit all over the place. I have got my new car, which I'm really excited about, and yeah, it's kind of sent me into a little bit of a frenzy, but I wanted to do it, and I wanted to film this video in my car. And I just thought it would be a nice setting, especially considering the subject that we're talking about, which is a very important one. If you've got any questions, if you've got any feedback, comments, stories of your own that you'd love to share with me, then please do comment below. I'd love to hear all about, you know, your situation right now, whatever you might find challenging about the whole self-love thing. And yeah, I'm planning on doing many more videos moving forward on this topic, because it is such an essential one, especially when it comes to the law of attraction and manifesting the lifestyles that we want for ourselves. Anyway, until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye bye.